Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by Lion Fight super lightweight Julio Pena. Julio, how are you?
How's it going, Mike? I'm doing good, thank you.
Julio, the name of the game is really random. That's where I ask you a random question and you give me the real answer. Some of these questions are custom made just for you, and some of these questions are generic ones that I ask all the people I interview. So, here's the first question. Superpower you'd love to have?
Superpower I'd love to have? Be able to fly. That'd be awesome.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Tough one. It's kind of cheesy, but I'd say Cool Runnings. It's an old movie from the 90s that I grew up on. It's a really good movie.
Movie you've seen the most times?
Movie I've seen the most times, Good Morning Vietnam.
Favorite color?
Favorite color's black.
Favorite guilty pleasure?
Favorite guilty pleasure? Food. Love to eat anything, donuts especially.
Coming up on May 27th, you're going to be fighting at Lion Fight 29. How's training been going for the fight?
Training's been going amazing. It's probably been one of the best training camps I've had. Very thorough. Feel really strong. Really fast. I feel sharp. Trying some new training techniques this time around, and I'm excited. I'm excited to show what I've been able to improve on the last several weeks.
You're fighting Travis Clay. What are your thoughts about him as an opponent?
He's a very well-rounded fighter. He's very talented, very skilled. From what I've seen in some of his videos, so I think it's going to be a great matchup. I think it was a smart matchup by Lion Fight to put us against each other. He
only has one fight, and I know you just said that you saw some film on him. Was it difficult finding footage on him since he is very new to the sport? Just with one fight, was it difficult to find footage? Actually, no, because he's got an extensive amateur career, so there's been a lot of film on him as an amateur. No film on him as a pro because he's only had one pro fight. Mm-hmm. But been able to find and watch some film on him from his amateur days, and it's definitely helped. It's definitely helped in my preparation. Some guys like to watch a lot of film on the opponent they're going to be fighting. Some guys like to watch no film on the guy they're going to be fighting, and they just leave it up to their coaches. How does your system work? Do you just watch the fights yourself, or will you and your coaches watch the fights and then come together? How does your system work for breaking down a fighter you're about to fight? It all depends. My coaches watch film all the time. I'll watch film, believe it or not, just kind of when I feel like watching it. If I ain't got much going on, I'll watch a little film. I don't dwell on it too much because, to be honest, right out of Mike Tyson's playbook, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And, things can be different. People train differently for every camp and have different things going on for every camp. So, you watch a little bit of film, you try to pick up some of the quirks and stuff like that. But I don't really dwell too much on film. I do watch a little bit, though. This is probably going to be a tough question for you to answer because I'm asking you to get in the mind of your opponent, but what do you think his camp is telling him to do against you in this fight? Probably kick, sneak, stay away from my hands. That's what I'm really thinking. I think I'm known in the Muay Thai community for my hands, being a puncher, being not being afraid of getting inside and exchanging with hands. So my experience in the past with fighters who don't feel or don't believe that they could stay in the hands game, they tell them to kick a lot, and that's what I usually expect from a lot of the fighters is using their legs a lot more than their hands, which is okay. It's okay with me. I'm used to it. So far, since you've been fighting under the Lion Fight banner, you've given us a lot of great moments, whether it's great knockouts or a come-from-behind effort where you show a lot of heart and find a way to get the job done. You've done a lot of great things in a short amount of time. Coming up on May 27th, do you feel pressure to give us more? Do you feel pressure to have to do something amazing on fight night?
Believe it or not, not really. I tend to put a little bit of pressure on myself, but I don't worry about that. I go out every fight to fight the best fight I can fight. And if I can put on a show for the fans, absolutely I'm going to do it. The one thing I do want is for when everybody leaves that arena, I want people talking about my fight. I want people talking about me and my opponent, how we fought our butts off. We may not be the co-main event, we may not be the main event, but I want people walking out of there talking about our fights. When it comes down to the pressure, I don't worry about that. I'll be honest, I'm getting in there into that ring by choice. I want to get in there, I want to have fun, I want to learn, and I want to improve. Putting pressure on myself doesn't help me with that. So I go in, take it one fight at a time, whatever happens, happens, and go from there.
This fight will be taking place at Foxwoods in Connecticut. Now, that's not too far from where you live. It's not exactly close, but then again, it's not a cross-country plane ride for you. It's a good distance, but still, in the big picture, a pretty close fight from where you are. So, how many people will be making the trip to Foxwoods from your area? Friends, family? How many people would you say are going to make the drive to come watch you fight? Will you have a good crowd? Yeah, I'm pretty lucky. I have a nice fan base at home. I've been in the Muay Thai game for a while, so amongst supporters from other gyms in my local area and stuff like that, I'll definitely have people there cheering me on, rooting for me, which is a huge help because pretty much my whole amateur career I fought in other states and didn't have many people in the crowd, and it kind of held you back just a little bit, but it's awesome being able to go and have a lot of people walk around with my shirt and support me. It's definitely a plus, and this fight's going to be no different. Going to have a lot of people there rooting and cheering me on, and then pushing me till that last bell. Is it true that you started training just for fun and you had no intention of pursuing this fighting career?
Yeah, absolutely. That's how it all started. I laugh because when people ask me, Julio, why'd you get into Thai boxing? And it's because I wanted to look good without a shirt at the beach. I was a little younger. I was single. So I wanted to look good at the beach. I wanted to, meet women, meet girls, and that's how I got started. And wanted to get in shape, look good. Went saw a good friend of mine, who's actually one of my cut men, fight his first amateur fight. Ever since that day, I got bit by the bug. Fought some amateur fights. Never thought I'd go pro. Never even considered it. It was just something I was doing as a hobby, and people thought I was crazy. Because I have my career. I have a regular job.
Right.
And here I am. It's still surreal. 4 fights later, 4 pro fights, going into my 5th. Very surreal. It's been a crazy year. I'm lucky to be here. I'm happy to be here. I'm privileged. It's an honor. I fighting for Lion Fight and having a fan base. Never thought I still even get surprised that I have fans. So I just take it in and enjoy it because I never thought I'd be here. Never even considered it.
Why Muay Thai as opposed to a different martial art or a different combat sport? Or a different form of working out? You could have done powerlifting or CrossFit or whatever these different workouts are. Why exactly did you decide to go with Muay Thai? What was it about Muay Thai that piqued your interest?
I dabbled a little bit as an adult. I dabbled a little bit in weightlifting and stuff like that. I've always been a small individual, and the weightlifting just wasn't really doing it for me. I mean, I have friends that were big into lifting and other types of martial arts, and this one kind of just popped up. A couple guys I work with were doing Muay Thai, and they're like, "Come down, check it out. You're gonna like it, and if you want to get in shape, this is the workout." And I tried it out. I love the workout. I love the intensity. I love the tradition and the culture behind Muay Thai, which is absolutely amazing. And that's what kind of drew me in, the great workout and the culture and tradition. Nothing against any other martial art. I did Kung Fu as a young kid. Loved it. I was always involved in sports. But this one there was just something different about Muay Thai that just kind of sucks you in, for lack of a better term. It sucks you in, and usually once you get sucked in, you're there for good, because it'll make changes in your life like it did in mine. I mean, I met my wife in the gym. I proposed to her in a Muay Thai ring after one of my fights. And we're still together. She's helped me train for my fights, and that's what Muay Thai has done for me. And I think that's what I expected it to do for me when I first got into it.
How long were you training before you took your first amateur fight?
I was 6 to 8 months, maybe, give or take. I was a little heavier, and I started training. My trainer noticed that I was coming in, several times a week, putting in a couple extra hours a week, and plus my running and staying busy. He goes, "Hey, you've been doing pretty good. Your conditioning's getting better. Do you want to try an amateur fight?" I was like, "Absolutely." And jumped into it. And I remember my first amateur fight as if it was yesterday. And I remember in the ring, getting my nose busted, bleeding, and saying, "Man, this is what I want to do. This is fun."
In addition to your fighting, you also work a full-time job. You're a deputy sheriff for Norfolk County. What exactly is your role at the department? Are you someone out on patrol, out on the streets? Are you someone who works at the jail? What exactly do you do there?
Just a small correction. It's actually Suffolk County.
Sorry.
It's been said that it's Norfolk, but it's actually Suffolk County.
Okay.
I actually work in the training division. I'm one of the training instructors. I teach use of force, defensive tactics. I'm a firearms instructor with my department, a less lethal munitions instructor, CPR. So I train all the new recruits that are looking to become sheriff's deputies, and I train all the current deputies, in their yearly refresher courses that they need. I did work inside the jail for approximately 6 years, and I've been in the training division now about 8 years.
Do you have any stories you want to share with us? Are there any stories that you have that start with something like, "You'd never believe what happened"? Do you have any of those kind of stories being inside there?
There's a lot of them, but they believe it or not, life inside of a jail isn't as spectacular as television makes it sound.
Sure.
There's some crazy stuff that happens. There's crazy stuff that you see and you hear about. But you learn to deal with those things. Anything that pops to mind that's extremely, extremely crazy, there's a couple of things that I have experience with. But nothing that's gonna blow anybody's mind back. That it's usually it's a very routine job, for lack of a better word. Very it's almost the same every single day.
Okay. So you never had to take out someone who was trying to escape. You never had to show off your Muay Thai skills. No,
believe it or not. I've gotten this question asked a lot, but
sure.
I have not had to use any Muay Thai skills on anybody. It's mainly what Muay Thai has taught me, though, is how to de-escalate a situation. I'm being a lot more calm-headed. You don't want to have to use force on an individual. That's the absolute last resort thing that any officer wants to have to do. Do we do it? Absolutely, we do it. When it comes down to my Muay Thai skills, I haven't had to use anything in the defense of my life or somebody else if I had to, then so be it. I just have to justify and explain why I did what I did. But thus far, I've been lucky. 13 years on the job, I haven't had to use my Muay Thai skills.
Obviously, you've been training a lot longer than your professional record would show. You don't have a lot of fights compared to a lot of the other guys that are signed from Lion Fight from a country like, let's say, Thailand, where these guys are fighting professionally. They start when they're 17. They have like well over 100 fights because they're fighting all the time. So if you look at your record, it doesn't look like you've been fighting that long, but when you break it down and look at your history and look at how long you've been training, you have been training for a very long time. But because you don't have that many fights, how would you describe your career? Do you consider yourself an up-and-comer? Do you consider yourself a contender? How would you describe your experience in Muay Thai and where you are at this point in your career?
Be honest, I don't consider myself an up-and-comer. I'm just another average guy who enjoys what he does. I have two careers. I have my deputy sheriff career, and I got my fight career. And I just manage both of them. I get in the ring, I fight, and that's pretty much it. When I'm not in the ring, I'm at the gym teaching or spending time with my family. I'm very close with my family. When I'm not in fight camp or anything like that, I'm spending as much time as I can with my wife and my family. As far as an up-and-comer, again, I'm just a guy who enjoys what he does. I'm lucky to be where I am, especially at my age. I'm 37. I'll be 38 soon. And I just enjoy the process. That's the one thing I've learned. I learned later in my career was it's not just all about the fight. It's about the process. Enjoy the process, the people I'm meeting, the people I'm talking to, and stuff like that. And if an opportunity ever arises where I'm fighting for a title or I'm co-main event or main event, then absolutely great. I'm going to enjoy that aspect of it as well. But right now, I'm just a guy who gets in the ring and fights.
Obviously, Lion Fight has done a great job growing the sport here in the United States. Without Lion Fight, I don't really know what the state of Muay Thai in America would be, but they've done a great job getting exposure to a lot of the guys who fight, and they've got a TV deal. And because they're on Access TV, you get world-class striking in high definition. It's a beautiful thing. But let's say that Lion Fight didn't exist. Would you be fighting? Like, how much does this organization mean to you?
No, I'd probably still be fighting. I'd probably be closer to retirement from fighting, just because we want to expose Muay Thai. We want people to see Muay Thai. That's the other thing. Muay Thai has been kind of put on the back burner for a while because of the MMA game. And I have nothing against the MMA aspect, but Muay Thai's always kind of taken a back seat to it. And it's just as fun. It's such a great sport. And Lion Fight's done so much for it. I mean, many times I've been to a different place. I'm like, oh, you know what? Where are we watching Lion Fight tonight? Are we going to go watch Kevin Ross fighting, Yeltsin Claus fighting? And it's done so much for the game that it's amazing. And I mean, I'm lucky. I'm proud to be fighting for Lion Fight. That's why when I was given the opportunity to extend my contract another 4 fights, I said absolutely, let's go for it. I don't have a problem with ending my career with Lion Fight. They're a great organization. The people working that organization are amazing. And I enjoy it. And again, I plan on finishing my career with Lion Fight.
How much longer do you want to continue to fight? Do you have a set date in mind? Like, you want to fight until you're 40? Do you want to fight until you're 45? Do you have an amount of fights? Is it something like that where in 5 more fights you're going to call it quits? Is it something where in 10 more fights you're going to call it quits? Or is it something where you're just going to play it by ear and take it day by day and just keep going until the wheels fall off and there is no set date? If you're in your 50s and the body still feels good, you're going to continue to fight. Do you have an idea on how long you want to continue to fight?
I'm kind of taking it day by day right now. Nothing too crazy. I got my 4-fight extension. As long as my body at my age allows me to continue, I'll continue. But once my body starts to tell me that I have to slow down, then you know what? That's exactly what I'll do with no regrets. The one thing my trainer, Bill Newcomb, always told me is, Julio, you don't want to leave with any regrets. You know, you want to do everything you can do in this game, and I think about that every day. So take it day by day, fight at a time. As long as my body allows me to keep doing what I do and fight through any issues, I'll stay on this roller coaster ride as long as I can. But once it comes and pulls into the station and it's time to get off, I'll get off. And that's pretty much how I'm looking at it right now.
Hobbies outside of fighting?
Hobbies, golf. Love golf. I mean, it's tough when I'm in fight camp during the summer or springtime because I love getting out of work after my shift and driving straight to the golf course and getting a nice 18 in on the course. So that's the top hobby. That's probably what I'll be doing once I retire from fighting.
Do you have any pre-fight rituals or superstitions?
I try to keep everything the same as the previous fight. Whatever usually I might wear, what I might eat, stuff like that. I try to keep everything the same, because my mindset stays in a better place when I do that.
Do you have any post-fight rituals?
I have no children. My wife and I have no children, so I spend usually an evening with my nephew. We go bowling. We go to arcades. I eat bad food, drink a lot of soda, and just kind of hang out. And that's a huge post-fight ritual for me. It's happened after every single pro fight. We have our date set up, and that's our thing.
How are you and your nephew related? Is he your brother's son? Is he your sister's son? Is he someone who's from your wife's side of the family and he's related to her, and since you married into the family, he became your nephew? What is your relation to this boy?
He's my sister's kid. It's her only child. He's got a form of autism, so he means the world to me. He loves the fact that I fight. He's probably my number one fan, which I'm lucky to say. He's seen all my fights. Loves watching me on TV, but he enjoys the time I spend with him. He doesn't like the time that I'm in fight camp because of I don't get to hang out or spend as much time as I'd like with him. But he's there for me right after the fight. Win or lose, him and I hang out and we have a blast, and he makes everything better.
Besides fighting, what are you passionate about?
My family. My family. I have a very close relationship with my family. My mom, my dad, my sister, my wife. We're very family oriented, always have been, and that's the thing I miss the most when I'm in fight camp, is not being able to spend time with them as much as I'd like to. The dinners and just the nights at home, talking, hanging out over a cup of coffee. That's the one thing I really missed during fight camp, because I just enjoy their company so much.
If you could trade places with anyone in the world for a week, who would you trade places with and why?
No, tough question. I might say my favorite fighter, John Wayne Parr, from Australia. He's always been one of my favorite fighters. I would love to be in his shoes, experiencing the fights he's experienced and the training he's experienced and all that good stuff. He's fought all over the world. He's an amazing fighter. He's fought some tough people, lost to some tough people, won to some tough people, I'd change it up with him for a week in a heartbeat just to see just to experience that stuff.
I want to know what his face feels like, because he's been cut over 500 times over the course of his career. I wonder what his face feels like.
Yeah, I think he leads the pack with how many cuts he's had to his face. He cuts very easily because of all his scar tissue.
Right.
But he'll keep going. He'll keep going, cut or not, in a fight. He'll keep fighting. There's very few things that can stop him. So,
John Wayne Parr has a Muay Thai promotion that it's basically MMA without the ground. They fight in a cage and they use 4-ounce gloves. Is that something that you'd be interested in fighting in?
Oh, I would love to try that. I've always said it. Cage Muay Thai.
Yep, that's
Australia.
it. Right.
I've always enjoyed it. I love watching it. And I think it's an awesome concept. Kind of takes away from the tradition and the culture of the regular Muay Thai. But I think it's a really cool concept. That would be something that I'd definitely be willing to try out at least once. Because it's just that the concept behind it is pretty cool.
If you could stay one age forever, how old would you stay and why?
Oh, I'd say 32. It was great years for me. My early 30s were great years for me, so I'm kind of like cutting it in the middle there. I was able to buy my house, get engaged, get married, so my early 30s were awesome. That's where I felt the strongest in the gym, and felt really good. So I think 32 would be a good number.
Favorite TV show, and it can be a show currently on the air or a show no longer on the air, just overall favorite TV show.
Favorite TV show? Oh man, that's another tough one. I'll have to go with one of my favorite ones right now. It's kind of weird. Andrew Zimmern, which is because during fight camp, that's all I watch is food shows. Because obviously I'm dieting and stuff like that, and staying busy. That all I watch is food shows because I'm a foodie. I love to eat. So I'd say Bizarre Eats.
Favorite band and or solo artist?
No, don't really have a favorite band or solo artist. Just don't really. I for years I listened to a lot of Eminem. But now that I'm a little older, believe it or not, the type of music I actually listen to a lot is oldies. I love the oldies, the golden oldies. I have it on Pandora in my car, and that's pretty much what I listen to. It kind of keeps me calm. I enjoy it. It's fun music to listen to. So.
Celebrity people say you look like?
I don't know if he'd be considered a celebrity, but the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers.
Colin Kaepernick?
Kaepernick. Everybody says I look like him. Minus the height and the muscles.
In the face.
In the muscles. And I'm catching up to him with the tattoo sleeves. But minus the muscles and the height, everybody says I look like him.
I agree. In the face, you do look a lot like him, so.
Yeah.
Go-to song when you're singing in the shower?
Trying to be good for some reason. Trying to be good because it's just I don't know why. I'll be in the shower because it's an easy song. I kind of remember the words to it.
Piece of technology you can't live without? My
phone. Pretty much like every other person my age, just and under my age, and in this lifetime right now, my phone. I do everything on my phone. Pay bills. My social media stuff. I mean, I run my life off my phone.
Favorite social media platform?
Instagram. I believe it or not, I prefer Instagram over any of the other social websites. Just because it's mainly just you post up a picture, a video, and next thing you know, you just put in comments. There's really not a lot going back and forth. Just a couple. You just deal with comments, really.
Website you visit most often?
Amazon.com. Love that. Love them. Constantly on them. Even when I don't need to order anything, I'm on them. Just looking for stuff.
You have some tattoos. How many do you have, and what are the meanings behind these tattoos?
Oh, easy. I want to say I got maybe eight or nine tattoos. Everything on my right sleeve has to do with my life, with either something I've experienced in my life or a family member, anything of that sort. I have wings for my grandmother. I have a breast cancer ribbon for my mom. I have a fedora for my dad. I got my wedding date in Roman numerals on my arm. So I got a little something for everything, for everybody in my family. The next one's going to be a autism puzzle piece for my nephew. That's going to go on my right arm. I got a couple other tattoos that are just regular tattoos that I kind of enjoyed them, and I just said I wanted to get them.
If you could go on a $1 million shopping spree at any store, what store would you go on that $1 million shopping spree at?
If Amazon had a store, that's where I'd go. But most likely like some sort of electronic store, maybe Best Buy, where I could just get all the technology, all smart screen TVs and surround sounds and all that good stuff. Typical guy stuff, I guess. Your
nickname is the Don. Who started calling you that?
My trainer, my crew, Bill Newcomb. He gave it to me after the tequila. Because he always said, one shot, you're done. And it comes from the Don Julio tequila.
What's the best thing that ever happened to you?
Me and my wife, when it comes down to the fight game. Me and my wife, she's an integral part of my fight game. I couldn't do what I do without her.
What's the worst thing that ever happened to you?
Knowing that my mom had breast cancer. That was one of the worst things I've ever had to experience.
What's your pet peeve?
Don't really have one. I'm a very chill, relaxed guy, so I don't really have any real things that really bother me too much.
Let's say you found a magic lamp, and you rubbed that magic lamp, and a genie appeared, and the genie said he was going to grant you 3 wishes. What would those 3 wishes be?
That my mom and nephew would be cured. That my family would have everything they ever needed. Not having to be rich, but have everything they ever needed, and that they'd be healthy. And that me and my wife could live a happy life.
Do you have any regrets, whether they're personal or professional?
I regret not getting into Thai boxing sooner in my life, believe it or not. I wish I would have gotten into it sooner. Younger, I wish I knew more about it and dove in head first. And but if I have any regrets, that's pretty much the only one when it comes down to my professional fight game.
What's your porn star name? If you combine your childhood pet with the street you grew up on, what's your porn star name?
Muggsy Green would be, because my dog's name was Muggsy, and the street I grew up on was Green Street, so I guess it would be Muggsy Green. Doesn't sound too bad.
I like it. That's a good one. Some people are afraid of spiders, some people are afraid of heights, some people are afraid of the dark. What are you afraid of?
Myself, believe it or not. Myself, I tend to get into my head a little bit. And I know when I have something big coming up, I start thinking too much instead of just letting things happen sometimes. But on a different note, I'm not a big fan of bugs.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Person you look up to the most?
My mom. My mom, as cliche as that sounds, my mom. She's been through a lot her whole life, and she's still going strong, which is amazing. So, say her.
Time period you'd like to go back and visit, and why?
The 40s, for some reason. My wife says it all the time. She goes, "You belong in that era. You belong in that age." The 40s and 50s, it's a great era for me. I don't know why. I enjoy the music, I enjoy the style, I enjoy everything about it, and that would be the area I would love to go, the time I would like to go visit.
What do you worry about? What's something that keeps you up at night?
Just being able to continue being successful, not just in the fight game, but with my career, with my job, and being a good husband, and being a good son, and a good teacher at my gym. And that's the stuff I usually think about, and I'm always worried about making sure that I can provide for my family, for my wife, and stuff like that.
Best advice you were ever given through life, and best advice you were ever given through fighting, and who gave it to you?
Through life was just don't be afraid to take chances. Sometimes you just have to step out of that box. Say, you know what, I'm going to do this, and go for it and break those rules. That was a good friend of mine at work. The other one was, you don't want to live with regrets, and that was from Bill. No regrets. Go out there, give it all you can. So when you walk out of here, when you're done with the fight game, you know that you gave it everything you could and everything you had, and that's all anybody can ask from you. So,
what's your hidden talent?
Hidden talent. I'm actually not that bad at golf. Not as bad as I thought I was, anyways. That's about it. I don't think I have anything else.
Number one thing on your bucket list?
Transatlantic cruise. Something so simple. Transatlantic cruise, up on a boat. I love cruises, up on a boat, and do that. That's going to be the number one thing next year for me and my wife to do.
If you could change one thing about the world, what would you change and why?
It's going to be tough. There's a lot of stuff, but I would say, I don't even know if this counts, but maybe child abuse, anything to do with children, it drives me crazy. Kids being in, being abused, being hurt, stuff like that. If there was anything I could change in this world, it'd be that nobody would ever lay a finger on a child to hurt a child intentionally.
Last question, Julio. This should be interesting. I've never asked a police officer this question before. Let's say you were on death row and about to be executed. What would your last meal be? And I need an entree, a dessert, and a beverage. What would your last meal be?
Entree, most likely, would be lobster. I love seafood. I love lobster. That's lobster is obviously, because of the price, it's usually the meal that I get on special occasions. I love lobster. With maybe a surf and turf, some good steak. Dessert, some sort of great pastry. I love pastries. And for a beverage, it would be probably the most expensive wine we could find. I enjoy drinking wine. I love wine.
Julio, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you want to say to the fans?
Absolutely. First of all, to my fans, I appreciate the support. I've always been very appreciative. I mean, I couldn't do what I do without my fans' support. They're absolutely awesome. It's still kind of funny that I say that I have fans, because that's the one thing I never thought I would say. So I want to say truly thank you for the support. To my sponsors, absolutely, Zion X, Filibuster, Fairmont Grill, Clean Eats Delivery, who are absolutely amazing with supporting me and pushing me along for my fights and believing in me. My management, Prime Athletics, who went out and got all these great sponsors for me.
Julio, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Good luck May 27th at Lion Fight 29 against Travis Clay.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for having me on, man. I really appreciate it.